Yep. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to this Basildon Borough Council webinar with West Ham skipper Mark Noble. I'm delighted also that we're joined by Mark Blundell from Onside Youth Zone, and we're also joined by Bola from the Youth Zone as well. This is all to do with Basildon's plans to bring a new youth zone into the heart of our town centre. Anything that Barking and Dagenham can do, we can do better, as I would say to their leader. And I'm delighted, as I said, that we've got Mark Noble, West Ham captain, and a big supporter of our youth zone ideas with us today. We are streaming this live on YouTube, and so people across the borough will be able to join in with what we're doing, and we're going to open this up for some questions. I suppose, Mark, just to kick off as an introduction, you just recently hit the 500 mark for West Ham on Friday last week. How did it feel to get into that bracket of 500 appearances and that big milestone?
Do you know what? Obviously, because of the way the season's gone and the lockdown and COVID that we've all had to suffer with, it was a massive relief because we won the game. But to reach 500 games for West Ham, not only for the one club, but also for the club you support, is what how I look at it. I won't appreciate it fully until I retire and look back and look now that I'm probably I think one of only 10 players in the club's history to be able to do that. So yeah, I feel honoured. Did I ever think I'd do that? No. But yeah, time flies, and I'm at the 500, and I still feel fit and I'm ready to play more.
Brilliant. So you can chase Billy Bond's record down now and see if you can get to the, was it 700 mark? Something like that?
I'm not sure I'll get to that much. That's incredible. The game's changed a lot since then, and yeah, obviously, I hold the record for Premier League appearance for the club by some way, and unless probably someone like Declan Rice stays, that will be hard to beat. So, pretty proud of that. But whether I get to Bonzo's record is another story.
Brilliant. Well, let's open this up now. Matthew, you've got a question for Mark, so I'll hand over to you. If you just unmute yourself, and I'll mark your question.
Hello, Mark. At the moment, how can football teams, including West Ham, help the community?
In lots of ways. I believe that because of the revenue the football club makes, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, Gav, but Gavin's persuaded me to, I'm pretty sure it'll be out soon, but Gavin's persuaded me to do my M&F football camps in the borough in Billericay, so which will be fantastic for Basildon. I believe that doing football schools and getting kids active in playing sports and being part of something like a West Ham in the community sort of thing is fantastic. So there's many ways. I mean, just me being captain of the football club, being so close to the borough, and also Gavin, the leader of the council, who in my belief is fantastic, and Basildon's very lucky to have him now, and that's why I support the borough so much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Matthew, for your question.
Cheers, Matthew.
Antonio, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes. So, hello, Mark. I have a question. So, how has the pandemic affected your work?
Say that again. Sorry, darling, I didn't hear you.
How has the pandemic affected your work?
Good question. To be honest, I sat indoors and for the whole of lockdown, and I was on Zoom calls and conference calls with the football club, with the Premier League, with the PFA, with our players, because as captain of the club, we raised, as captains and football clubs, we raised a lot of money for charity during that time. We had to do obviously a deferral scheme with the players' wages. So it was very busy time for me, as much as it was boring we had to come back and fight a relegation battle. But for me, it just showed, I think, the world and especially Essex really, and the way and West Ham is how we can all pull together and achieve stuff and make a lot of money when everything's needed. I mean, I was the busiest I've ever been in lockdown, believe it or not. It's settled down a little bit now. We get to play football again, so it affected us massively. But now West Ham are safe in the Premier League. We're looking up and trying to improve for next year.
Brilliant. Thank you, Antonio. Oliver, I have a question for Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi,
How
Oliver.
do you overcome problems?
How do I overcome problems?
Yeah.
Depends what problems they are, but normally I hit them head on head and try and deal with them there and then. There's nothing worse than something being in your head and agitating you, so you're best off just addressing it straight away. We all have problems, mate, believe it or not. Captains of Premier League clubs, we all have family problems and illnesses in the family, and so it's just about being strong. As I said, addressing it head on, because normally when you don't, you have sleepless nights. That's how I find things, because you lay in bed at night and you think about everything. So just be true to yourself, and whatever's in your head, try to get out. You know, whether you have to speak to someone or someone you trust, but you know, we all have feelings, and the more you keep them in, the more it's going to hurt you. So I deal with mine normally head to head and just go straight for it, because for me that's the best way. But don't remember, guys, everyone has problems, yeah? Not whether you've got £1 or you've got £1 million. Everyone has mental issues and mental problems. So always address them. You know, never let them sort of fester in your head. It's a really good chance to get out and talk to someone you trust, and that's why I think Gavin's so keen on that and helping the borough in overcoming people that have got them sort of problems. So as long as you get out, you'll be fine.
Absolutely. Great question, Oliver. Well done. Next, we've got Shikemi. You've got a question for Mark?
Yes. Hi, Mark.
Hiya.
So my question is, how do you control nerves before a match?
It's a great question. Believe it or not, after all the years I've been playing, I still get nervous before every game. I still get nervous before every training session, believe it or not. And you know what that is? Because I want to be the best player on the training pitch. I want to be the best player on the pitch. I understand that ain't going to happen every week. But them nerves help me. There's been games in the past where I haven't felt quite as nervous. And then I start worrying, because I think, why am I not so nervous? I'm not taking it seriously. So some nerves are great. Obviously, you don't want to get to a stage where you're so nervous that you can't perform. And just find out what helps you and what works for you. If it's everything, I take football. Football's such an individual. It's a team sport, but it's such an individual sport. All of us get different nerves. So if it's having a couple of hours kip in the afternoon to relax a little bit, or it's watching DVDs, or it's going for a walk, you know, it's different things. I know a lot of people have job interviews and get very nervous, but just try and find out what works best for you, and then stick to that, because that's not what normally makes you feel good.
Brilliant. Great question. Obviously, you in your career would have got most nervous when you were playing at the Stadium of Light, I assume.
Well, to be honest, mate, I don't seem like we're going to be playing there for a while. So,
all right, cut me deep. Sonto, you've got a question for Mark? Not yet. Okay, we'll come back to you. Let's go back to Oliver. You have a question. Another question for Mark.
How do you raise team morale before games?
Oliver, you got some really good questions, mate. You don't do it really before a game. You do it all season long, and you keep building and building and building. So as a captain, you've got to learn quickly what each player thrives off, whether it's being shouted at, whether it's a pat on the back, whether it's a one-to-one conversation and tell him how good they are and how good they can be. So my way of leadership is through example. You know, there's no one wants to follow someone that doesn't lead by example, in my belief. So if you see someone that's out on a training pitch from Monday to Friday and then turns up for the game on a Saturday, then you look at them. I've had people like that in the past. You look at it and think, yeah, I want to be like that. So the biggest thing for me is leading from the front, and don't ask anyone to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. That's my motto.
Brilliant stuff. Matthew, you have a second question for Mark.
As I am a captain of Romford Tigers Junior Football Club, do you have any leadership in my team and not being too old?
Yes, if I'm honest with you. From obviously West Ham in the past haven't done well in stages. So don't ever, when you're at a place like that, or when the team's at a place like that, everyone's looking to someone to look up to. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's looking for someone to go, yeah, I'm going to follow him. So if you see the players are down, react the opposite. Be buzzing in training. Be happy around the place and say, come on, lads, we can do this. We can win the next game. And then if you don't, then you go again. And then when you do finally start winning games, the players will look to you and say, do you know what? All through this, we followed him and we stuck by him, and he believed we was going to come out of this. And that's the biggest thing for me, because it does change. Everyone goes through bad periods in matches and in seasons. But if you're the same week in, week out, whether you're winning or you're losing, then no one can say you didn't give it your all.
Great stuff. Antonia, you have another question for Mark.
Yes. How can local sports clubs be more inclusive for females? And how does West Ham and other clubs practice inclusivity?
I understood the first one. What was the second one? How does...
And how do other clubs and West Ham practice inclusivity?
Well, the first one, I think it's changed over the years. West Ham have got a fantastic women's setup now. They get a lot of support. They've got some very good players. They got to the FA Cup final. So I think that's working its way through the country now. I know there's a lot of clubs now that have got ladies teams, and not just football, but everywhere now. And I think that's very important, because there's some fantastic young female footballers. And I really do believe that in the next 5 or 6 years, the women's game is going to become more and more important and more professional. It's going to get a lot more sponsorships, because everyone wants to see that. I remember watching West Ham v Tottenham at our stadium, and it was a great game of football. And it was enjoyable to watch. So, and I think there was like 10,000 at our stadium for that game. So I'm pretty sure that everyone now, Basildon, I know because I speak to Gavin a lot, is very inclusive of trying to get female teams up and running, and I'm hoping that continues.
Absolutely. Oliver, you've got a third question for Mark about our youth zone.
How would a youth zone have affected you if you were younger?
Well, I probably would have been there every single day, Oliver. I grew up in a rough part of East London that we didn't have. We had a youth club, but it wasn't anything like the youth zones that I've seen. It had one table tennis table and a pool table, and that was it. And we spent a lot of time there. So I've seen the one in Barking, and it's fantastic. Honestly, it's brilliant. And if Basildon, and I think Gavin will 100% get it done, produce one in the borough, it will be fantastic. I mean, I think it's 50p to get into the one in Barking, and the facilities it's got, making friends and keeping off the street. I would have been there every single day for sure.
Absolutely, and we're hoping next week at the council to make that decision to get the ball rolling officially with onside, so we can get that youth zone built. So fingers crossed that that
Great
goes
news.
through. Santo, do you want to ask your question now? Yeah, you want to unmute yourself and then you can ask your question to Mark. Santo, you're just still on mute?
So, you know the football match. Is there a lot of people watching your football team because of the pandemic going around and stuff?
No, in fact, there's a lot of people watching on TV, but no one's allowed in the stadium. So it's only staff, officials, and players that are allowed in the stadium. So probably 100 people from each team, and that means our stadium gets 60,000. So 59,800 people are not there. So it's a big miss, and the atmosphere is not the same, but we had to get on with it because we knew it was so important. And now, obviously, after drawing with Manchester United last night, we're safe, and we can look forward to next season when hopefully all the fans are back.
And what was it like last night playing against Pogba and Fernandes?
It was all right, to be fair. I quite enjoyed it. We actually played really well last night. We definitely deserved a draw, and it wouldn't have been a sort of smash and grab if we got anything more. So the Manchester United are a fantastic team. They've got some great players, but we fully deserved the result there last night.
Yeah, I played very well. Pogba's a good player. He's no Lee Catmull, right? But he's a good player. Antonia, you've got another question for Mark.
Yes. Why do you support projects like the Youth Zone?
Good question, actually. I think with what's happening in the world today, with knife crime and crime on the streets, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for kids to actually go somewhere and play and make friends and become part of a community. Another reason is that I never had anything like that as a kid, and when I see the Barking one being built and see the finished project, it was fantastic. And to go there and just pay 50 pence and be able to use all them facilities, I thought was such a clever idea. So I think for me to see that sort of money being spent, but it doesn't change. It's money at the end of the day, and I know it's a lot of money, but it changes people's lives and it gives kids a chance to do music, to do media, to do sport, and it's a great initiative. That's why I believe in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew, you've got your next question for Mark.
Is it strange to play without fans in stadiums?
Matthew, it is terrible. It's dead quiet. I know when you watch it on TV, it sounds like there's crowd noise there, but it's not. It's dead silent. Like playing at Old Trafford last night, there's normally 80,000 there, and you walk out and it's just empty and it's silent. It's really strange, mate. Really strange. But as I said, we knew we had to get on with it. We knew we had to win football matches, and we've done that. So, but we are really looking forward to the fans coming back.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Shikemi, you've got another question for Mark as well.
Yep. Hi. Why did you decide to become a footballer?
It was the only thing I was good at, darling, to be honest. I went to school. I always loved playing football. And you're to make it to play in the Premier League as a player. I think it's not even 1% of the population gets the chance to do that. I always loved football as a kid. I dedicated my life to football in not going out, spending nights in and training, and I really wanted it that much. I wanted to make a success for myself and my family, and lucky enough I've done that. But I do think it's born in you. I don't think you can learn to become a better player for sure, but to play at the Premier League level and the level that I do, I think it's a lot of practice, but it's definitely your mentality, and that is born inside of you.
Thank you.
Great question, Shikemi. Sonso, do you have another question for Mark? If you could just unmute yourself.
Yes, I do. Are you just a footballer, or do you do other games too?
Yeah, I play golf. I play tennis. Not very good, if I'm honest. I'm okay, but yeah, football takes up most of my time now. I don't get to practice the others so much, but when I finish playing in a few years, darling, I will definitely get better at golf and get better at other sports.
Great stuff. We've just got a few minutes left with Mark. So if you are one of the guys watching and you want to ask your question, please do put it in the Q&A. Mark, we've had a question that's coming from Kai, who said, how does it feel to be a lifelong West Ham fan and get to play and captain your team?
Do you know what? It's really hard to put in words, because I used to have West Ham backpacks for school, West Ham kits. I used to hang outside the stadium and ask for the players' shirts. I used to try and sneak in because I never had no money. And then I played in the academy, which was surreal at the time because I was a West Ham fan. And to become a player that's played 500 games for the club and captain the club through some historical times is, as I said, I'm fully involved in it still because I'm playing. But once I finish playing, I will fully understand and probably realise what I've done as a local boy playing for his local team.
Absolutely. And in Basildon, we're trying to make sure that young people growing up in this town, in this borough, are proud to say that they come from Basildon and that they grow up in Basildon. How important do you think the youth zone would be at fostering that pride in Basildon and our town?
Do you know what? The one thing I do think is fantastic is that you go to the youth zone, you pay 50 pence. I think, would that be the same in Basildon? Yeah, you pay 50%. And then with that, just because it's 50 pence, you have that sort of ownership of it that you're putting towards and you're paying. I do believe if you let in for free, people will take advantage of it. But because of that 50 pence, it gives you a bit of ownership. And to be able to go there and talk to people and talk to the people that work there if you've got problems at home, and we've all had, as young kids, had problems at home, to be able to nurture the skills that you probably didn't know you had with the youth zone not there, whether that's sport, entertainment, teaching, there's so many different criteria of stuff that I think so important to give everyone a chance, because everyone can't be a footballer. Not everyone can be an Olympic athlete, but everyone's good at something, and it's just finding what they're good at, and obviously being able to go there every day and pay 50 pence to use an Apple Mac or to use a drum set or a guitar is just fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Jenny has asked in the Q&A, final question, she's asked, how old were you when you got picked, and how did you go about training during the lockdown? How did that work?
I got picked I was playing for, believe it or not, I was at Arsenal from about 9 to about 12, but it was too far from my house. I was late every evening because I had to get from East London to North London in rush hour traffic. But I always supported West Ham, obviously. West Ham always wanted me, and when my contract was up to Arsenal, I was delighted to go to West Ham. And obviously the rest is history. Keeping myself fit, I was running, I was doing a lot of bike rides sort of through the forest and on my mountain bike and trying to keep fresh, you know, because running is boring. We run and train with a football, and for me, running's just boring. I hate it unless a ball's involved. So I've done a lot of stuff in the gym, a lot of bike riding. And then after that, we started in 1s and 2s back in the training ground. So at least you could see some people and have a conversation and get a little bit back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must help every day going to work with a genius as well. So I'm sure you enjoy that. Listen, Mark, you've been a gentleman giving us your time this afternoon. Huge thank you to you for your continued support for what we're trying to do here in Basildon and for answering our young people questions today. I know you've got to go, so thanks again on behalf of everyone from Basildon Council and from the whole of the borough for your time this afternoon. Thanks, Mark.
It's been a pleasure. Gavin, let me know about what's happening with the youth zone over the next coming weeks.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you to all of our young people as well on the call who asked such brilliant questions there of Mark, something that you're going to be able to tell all of your friends and family now that you were able to grill the West Ham captain talking about our youth zone. Whilst we've got people still on the line, I do want to talk to you, Mark, about what the youth zone can do here in Basildon, because we talk about it, we know what it is. Bola as well is on the line, who is aware of the work at Barking and Dagenham. But just tell these young people who are on the call today what they can expect from the youth zone coming to Basildon.
Okay, so for people that are in here and in the audience, a youth zone is a one-stop shop for young people to come and meet with their friends, have fun, do sports, arts, media, enterprise. There are probably about 13, 14 different spaces in the youth zone, everything from a big sports hall, kick around area, climbing wall, art room, music studio, radio, climbing wall. We have a sensory room for young people with disability. It really is just a one-stop shop. And in terms of being open, one of our things that we say is we're open when schools are closed. So 40 hours a week, the youth zone's open for young people to come in and get involved in all those activities, including, Friday and Saturday night when young people haven't got a lot to do. So they come along and be a part of that. So Bola, who's with me, has been part of our, what we call Young People's Development Group. And he and his brother, and he can talk about his brother as well, are really active in the youth zone. So Bola, do you want to tell us about your journey over the past few years with the youth zone and what you've been involved with?
Yeah, so basically, I've been doing this for like 5 years, and it's just an amazing experience. You're gonna meet so many people, and they're gonna give you so much opportunities. It's just very good experience. So I started with the Young People Development Group. So we helped with the designing, the logo, and just overall the what's it called? Forgot what the name is, but we helped with the advertisement or just basically events as well. And we also help with staff recruitment. So we helped get staff in the youth zone. And so I also have an autistic brother, as Mark said. And we, so because my brother's autistic, it's a good place for where he can go to and stuff. So
So when we start building on site, we have the hoardings and we have different pictures on the outside, and we had a picture of Bola and his brother, and the phrase underneath it was, "Me and my brother will both be able to go to the same place." And you both went there, Bola, didn't you? And on the opening day, who did you and your brother meet?
Well, yeah, I got to meet Prince Harry. It was a good experience. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what a youth zone is. That's what we're going to bring to Basildon. and it will change young people's lives and give them somewhere to go, something to do, and importantly, someone to talk to, because there'll be a whole load of staff there who will care and look after those young people. So that's coming your way, folks.
Absolutely, and thank you, Mark. Thank you, Bola, for that. I think we actually have a really short video that my officers can put on so that you can see for yourself exactly what the youth zone is going to be like here in Basildon. So then you can tell your friends and your family afterwards as well. So if I can ask my officers to put the video on, and then we can see for ourselves exactly what's coming to Basildon.
I've witnessed our young people float around with an energy dispersed into the oblivion of nowhere to go and nothing to do. Aimless in the endless maze of boredom, loneliness, and temptation. There seems to be no way out for this lost generation, left to spend 85% of waking hours outside of education with no fire to illuminate that boundless imagination. And we wonder why 1 in 8 from low-income estates achieves average earnings as an adult. It's an insult, a social crisis, a growing virus, the likes of which we have never seen. But there is a way out, a silver lining to the dark clouds. If you are aged 8 to 19 or up to 25 with a disability, Onside is opening its doors to a brighter future. Somewhere fun, safe, and inspiring to go. Something exciting to do, a hot meal with those you know. Someone to talk to for guidance or support into your choice of employment. Someone who listens, understands, and believes in your empowerment. From state-of-the-art sports, media, dance, and musical facilities to inclusive activities for young people of all abilities. From arts and crafts to enterprising career paths to just meeting some friends and having some laughs. Giving a generation the chance and the confidence, the determination to find themselves without discrimination. Giving a generation the hunger and the drive to lead healthy, active, and aspirational lives. There are well over 20,000 young people engaged in over 20 activities a day here, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, and 1 in 4 come for one-to-one support. It's proven to reduce crime and antisocial behavior by half or more, as well as create hundreds of opportunities for employment. It's 21st century youth provision, built on noble and sustainable partnerships between the community, local authority, young people, and private business leadership. Without each other, none of this would happen. So let's support each other and make it happen. Help Onside create 100 youth zones and give young people a way out.
Thank you, officers. What do you think of the look of that then, Oliver?
I think it looked very good. And it would be very good for Basildon, because I know a lot of people that go to my school and some of my friends would love to go there and do some of those activities.
Yeah, absolutely. Shikemi, would that be a place that you'd head to after school?
Most definitely, sign me up. It looks amazing, as Oliver said, and it's definitely somewhere me and my friends would go to after school on a Saturday, just to hang out really and just enjoy ourselves together. I think it's a really good thing.
Antonia, would you want to be part of the young people group that was coming together with the ideas for what it's going to look like in Basildon?
Yes, sure, I would love to do that. And I'm sorry I'm growing up so fast and I might not be able to enjoy it the fullest.
I'm sure you've got enough years in you yet to enjoy the youth zone.
We'll have you come along and volunteer and be a part and be a mentor, which I know you're already doing, helping other people in the community. And that's one of the things that the youth zone does, is brings people together, and lots of volunteers coming along to help and support young people. So it might be a couple of years away, but yeah, you can certainly be involved there. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. And Matthew, do you think if you were going to our youth zone of an evening, that your dream of playing for West Ham might come good if you were practicing your football skills?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would definitely attend, would you? Would you come along?
Yep.
How about you, Sonso? Okay. All right. Well, listen, the line there in that film was "make it happen," and as the council leader, as your council leader, I'm telling you, I promise you, we are going to make this happen, starting next week, where we take an official decision, and then we say to Mark and his team, let's work together with our young people, put together a group of us who are going to bring this to life, make it happen. So in a couple of years' time, it will be up and running in Basildon, and it will be changing people's lives for the better. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone who you know who might want to be involved in this, that this youth zone is coming to Basildon and it is going to change people's lives. Thank you all for your time this afternoon. Thank you, Mark and Bola from Onside, for coming and giving us that insight. And of course, to everybody watching, and to Mark Noble, the West Ham captain, for his time, his effort and his support for the Basildon Youth Zone. Have a very good evening, and thank you all indeed for joining.